Okay, now can we start?
Perfect. Okay. So, welcome everyone. Wishing you a very happy, prosperous, and vaccinated New Year 2020-21. This is our first meeting on again a new product of Tally, which is Tally Prime. Last month, Tally has introduced a Tally Prime, which is a new version of Tally, which is having the altogether new graphical
I think there is some connection issue with Ketan bhai. Darshan bhai, sir, if you can just.
Karan, I am back. Sorry, there was some issue in the internet.
Okay.
Hope you can able to hear my voice.
Yeah, I can hear you. Please continue, Ketan bhai.
Yeah. Okay. So last month, Tally has come up with a new product which is called the Tally Prime, which is a replacement of old Tally.ERP. In Tally Prime, we altogether have the different GUI. You can have the multitasking, and with that multitasking, you can able to generate e-invoice as well, which is mandatory effective from 1st of January. So today, we are fortunate that PD Committee of Chartered Accountant Association has organized this seminar for the benefit of all the members, all the staffs, and all the clients. With these words, I welcome you, all of you, and Darshan bhai, you can carry over.
Good evening, friends. President of the Association, Ketan Mistry, learned faculty Kunal Soni, my very strong supporter Karan Vora, and all the participants. We are pleased to begin the new year, with the first meeting of the Professional Development Committee on the subject of e-billing under Tally. President of the Association, Ketan Mistry, learned faculty Kunal Soni, my very strong supporter Karan Vora. This is a beginning of the beginning of our endeavor in the development and support to the professionals upcoming, more particularly, and we'll be planning certain meetings before the end of the term of this president to organize some more fruitful meetings also. Now I request Kunal bhai to take over the channel.
Thank you, Darshan. Very good afternoon to one and all. So today our session is basically regarding the Tally Prime. So first thing, many of us are not even aware that what's the difference between Tally ERP9 and Tally Prime. So basically what has changed that they have completely changed the user interface for the same compared to Tally ERP9. Now, whenever you would open Tally ERP9, there were many fields that were seen in the desktop at the time of the same under various buttons. The tabs that if you want the same, then only it would be reflected. So they basically derived the shortcut for each and every of the buttons for the same. And considering the e-invoicing scenario currently, they have introduced the release for this e-invoicing in Tally Prime 1.1. So first thing is, now from costing perspective, both are one and the same. There is nothing like that you are supposed to pay anything additional to get Tally Prime or sort. Only thing is you just need to have a valid TSS for the same. And apart from that, if we consider now, so what are various features of Tally Prime? What are the, how it differentiates from Tally ERP9? That we would take one by one for each of the feature of Tally Prime. Okay. To start with the same, I would just share my screen. Okay, so what was the primary objective of the Tally in bringing Tally Prime? They have basically defined the same as simplify the simplest, greater flexibility, and fresh look and feel. So see now what happens that they have provided various shortcuts. You could direct switch to various reports directly from the data entry screen itself. Previously, what used to be there that you are supposed to go to gateway of Tally, then you need to open that reports, then again close the same. Now they have provided switch to facility. So going through each of the same now. First thing, what they have done is browse folders and select your data at a blazing speed with both keyboard and mouse. Now see, till now we already know that in Tally, if we want to select any company, we need to paste the path of the same. There was no sort of browsing facility that was provided by Tally. Currently, when we would be opening Tally Prime. Now see, there are various options here: create company, select remote company, specify path, or select from drive. If you want to directly paste the path, you can paste the same here. And they have even provided this additional option as to select from drive. So see, we are going on the same. It provides you that you see, do you want to select the same from C drive, D drive, desktop, documents, or downloads? You can select the same. Let's say we are selecting this folder, Tally Prime Invoicing. This is the subfolder in that. There is one demo data folder. Here we have one company that is Surbi Hardware's Bangalore. So it would we would be able to directly drill down the same where the data is there. We can open the same. So first thing is the change that if we compare Tally ERP9 and Tally Prime is previously there was no sort of browsing facility that was there. Currently they have provided with the same. You could either select the same from mouse or you could even drill through keyboard. Now how they have changed the setup, we would look on the same. So how did Tally company setup has been differentiated from Tally ERP9. Now see, there's a button on the top of the Tally that is relating to company. So if we're gonna select this create company, see what here they have provided certain checks as to, let's say if we are selecting any state from Gujarat, any states say Gujarat, Maharashtra, or like that, by default country India would be selected. Or if we are selecting any state outside India, then by default that particular country would be selected. So these are the certain checks that they have provided in the company creation screen, so that there are no chances of error or sort. And why this is necessary? Because see, whenever now based on the GST, it is very essential to provide particular state considering the place of supply perspective, because then only proper state of place of supply would be derived. So let's say I'm selecting Gujarat here. So see, by default country would be India. Supposing I am doing some typo error and mentioning India here. So see, it is disclosing as blank. So these are some of the checks that they have provided. Or if I would mention some sort of thing like Dubai, so it would by default take UAE. So from control perspective, they have introduced the same. Now, what are the changes that they have provided in the product? See, previously, whenever you used to open this gateway of Tally, you used to find many options like inventory masters, account masters, payroll masters, if the same has been enabled. Currently, what they have done is they have integrated all the masters in a single tab. That is under the tab of masters. So any voucher type, any ledger master would be by default in this particular tab only. Currently, see, we are going in charts of account, so it would display here that accounting masters, inventory masters, Payroll master we have not enabled, so it is not disclosing here. Apart from that, on the face of this charts of accounts, they have already provided show inactive. So see, whatever features we have not used, that would be displayed here. So let's say we have not enabled cost centers, we have not enabled cost categories, payroll we have not enabled. So previously what used to happen that you need to go to F11 feature, enable the same. Now, even if you don't know the option that how to enable these all things, you can just directly click here and that would be enabled. So this was basically the change in masters. Apart from that, going to this charts of accounts, let's say we are going to ledgers. Now see, they have provided here various options, that is change view, exception reports, other masters. Now see, these are all the ledger masters. Let's say we are pressing this Control J, that is for exception reports. So here on the face only, it would display that how many ledgers are there which are not used during the. So these all ledgers are there under which no entry has been passed. So as to prevent any sort of increasing in number of ledgers and duplication, you can just directly select the same and delete the same. So this feature was not there on the face of Tally previously. Currently, they have provided the same here. Apart from that, these are all the used ledgers. They have even provided an option as to email validation and update party GSTN. Now, so it is mandatory that you need to have a GSTN of your data, so that whenever you are exporting any data from GSTR1 perspective or even from invoicing perspective, it would be validated. If the same has not been mentioned, it would disclose an error. So from here, you would directly have a list as to for which particular data your email ID or GSTN has not been updated. So see, it would display here if for any of the data the GSTN has not been provided, it would display the same here. Now see, I have selected here all ledgers. Currently, we have mentioned the same for every data. If for any data it has not been updated, you can directly update the same from here itself. And you would have a report for which particular data the same has not been updated. Similar is the thing as to email validation. You could directly mention the email ID of each particular data or creditor from here. So that let's say if you are using any sort of add-ons or like that, whereby you want to directly WhatsApp or email the particular report to your data, let's say be it be for outstanding or sales invoice, then the email would be fetched from here itself. So if you want to update the same for any particular data, you could directly do it from here. Previously, see, this sort of report was not available on the face of Tally ERP9. Currently, for ease of master updation, they have provided the same here. Now, how the data entry and printing experience have been changed. Now, see, previously, whenever you would have opened Tally, there were many options as to sales order, then delivery note, and all those stuff. So even if you were not maintaining the same reference-wise sales order or delivery note, but you were supposed to press enter or you can press Control A and you need to drill down the same. So what they have done here, they have just segregated those options into each different tabs. So there's one button named More Details. So we would see how they have done. Change the same. We are going to voucher screen. Supposing to sales voucher we are going. Now see this one and the same, the sales voucher that is there in Tally ERP9. Only the user interface has been changed to an extent. So now see they have provided here various options as to more details, change mode, optional, or post dated. Now see when we are going to more details, so they have provided that do you want to update dispatch details, export details, voucher narration, party details, consignee details, or reference number. Previously, what used to happen that all these details were coming in the voucher itself. So every time you need to, even though you don't want to mention the same, you need to press enter, and then it was a bit time consuming. So because of all these things, there would be ease in data entry. So if you want to mention anything, you can directly mention the same from here. Or if you don't want to mention, then this is a screen. You can just directly drill down like that only. Now see, all these options as to export invoice and all those stuff are not coming here because we don't want the same. We are doing local sales transaction. We don't want export details. So we won't be required to accept the same like that also. If there is any export invoice, you can just directly mention all these details here. So for ease of data entry, what they have done is they have segregated all these options and consolidated and kept it under more details option here. Now, apart from that, they have even provided an option as to change mode. See, previously, if you know, there were three options in Tally. That one was regarding inventory voucher, accounts voucher, and others. So let's say if you are booking any invoice as a part through inventory management, if you are selling some sort of inventory, then you need to select item invoice. Now, see, through this, what would happen? That name of item that would be displayed here, and you would be able to select the stock item that you want to sell. Let's say we are selecting any. So this is basically useful for traders and manufacturers. Now let's say any person is trading in or any person is dealing in I would say in service sector. Then what would happen that they are not supposed to maintain any stock items or like that. What they can do is they can directly select here change mode, counting invoice. Now see, by default that stock item has gone. This is the party name. Let's say we are creating one ledger for service invoice, service income rather. So if there is a scenario that someone is dealing in service industry, then they can use this option as to accounting invoice so that they are not getting any stock items. And if someone wants to pass a manual entry, that means let's say debit debtors, credit sales, then they have even provided an option here as to as voucher. So if they want to do in this particular manner, they can do like this also. The debit this particular party and credit sales or credit service income or like that. So currently they have consolidated the same year in change mode option. Previously, even this option was there that was displayed as a button on the right hand side. And currently they have consolidated the same here in list of modes usage. Now, how printing has been optimized. This is one of the good features that Tally Prime has bought. See, previously what used to happen, even if you were selecting 3-4 stock items, it used to take your print in 2-3 pages. Now that they have optimized here. We would look at the same. Now see, there is one invoice here. It is having 9 to 10 stock items. Now let's say if we want to print the same. Checking the preview, what is happening that currently it is disclosing in one page only. Now what previously used to happen, currently we have optimized this printing. Let's say we are setting this option, optimize printing to save paper to no. We are adding some description here for each of the stock items. Still it is in single page only. We need to add some items so that you have a clear idea as to the same. Also, we want this option optimize printing to save paper. We have set it to yes. So what would happen that all the stock items would be reflected in each single page only. Now, currently the option that they have provided for this is what we can do is 30 to 40 stock items would be reflected in single page only. And previously what used to happen, even if you used to select 4 to 5 stock items, then there were two, three copies of invoices that were generated because it was not getting settled in a single page. So this was from printing perspective that they have improved. Yeah. Now, apart from that, what they have did is, see, previously there was no as such option whereby if you are viewing your balance sheet, any report, let's say you are viewing the sundry creditors. Now, if you want to directly view your P&L reports, then you were supposed to go to gateway of Tally, then go to P&L. Now they have provided two options in Tally Prime. See, it is disclosed here. One is go to, another is switch to. What is the relevance of each particular option? We would see. See, currently we are in sundry debtors. Now let's say we are pressing this Alt G, that is for go to. If you want to view the profit and loss account now. So by default, profit and loss scheme. Now let's say we are pressing escape. We are again back to our report of sundry debtors that we were viewing previously. Okay. Now, go to what does it do? If you are viewing any of your particular report and you want to switch to any other report, once you press escape, you would be back to your original report. And the same thing, if you want to, rather than going to your original report, if you want to go to gateway of Tally screen only, then you could select the option switch to. Now this Alt G is for go to. Similarly, Control G is for switch to. Supposedly now you have went to this again profit and loss account. Now it has came to the main screen that was there. That was sundry debtors rather than directly opening each of the parties. So let's say even if you are going for this particular option, you are viewing any of the books of accounts, group summary, you are viewing this particular, let's say direct expenses or direct income or any particular option, debtors. Now, if you want to view the P&L, you can directly view the same from here. And even at the time of data entry, if you want to do the same. Previously, what used to happen that if you are doing some data entry and you want to view any of your report, then you need to press escape, come back and open that report. Now, let's say you are doing any sort of data entry. Supposedly, now you want to view at present only your profit and loss account. So you can just directly go to and press profit and loss account. So it would be displayed here. And see your entries, currently you are back in the entry screen itself. So if any sort of scenario arises whereby you have to view any report, then you could directly do it from the voucher entry itself, rather than going back, pressing escape and starting to view the report from gateway of Tally. So that was basically for this go-to option that they have provided. Apart from that, they have provided exception reports on the face of this balance sheet and P&L itself. Previously, it was under the display tab. Now, see, when you are opening your balance sheet, it is showing you the exception report. So if you want to view any of the ledgers that are negative, it would be displayed here. Say cash and bank are having negative balance. Then foreign party who is a debtor, it's having a credit balance. Then Kamal traders. So all the negative balance of each particular ledger would be displayed here. Then apart from that, they have provided two more options, that is basis of value and change of view. Going through each of the same, what is basis of value? Now see, it has mentioned that do you want to include working capital? Now, as we all know, working capital is basically net off of current assets and current liabilities. So if you want to set the same to yes, so how it would display that? It would display you with the net of figure, that what is your net working capital, current asset minus current liability. So it is based on viewability, how you want to view your reports. Similarly, stock valuation. Supposingly, currently you have valued all your closing stock based on FIFO. Now, what would be the effect on balance sheet if the valuation is completely changed from FIFO to average stock or from FIFO to LIFO? So this is the default valuation method. Now see, these are various valuation methods that they have provided, that if you want to have the same to FIFO, LIFO or any sort of thing. Let's say we are selecting LIFO currently. So the valuation of the same would be changed to LIFO. Scale factors. Now, if you want to view your this balance sheet in lakhs or crores, then even that option is possible. So it has changed to lakhs. We are setting the same to default currently. And similarly, there is an option as to change view. If you want to view the same vertically, you can even do the same. So what they have done, see, this is basically just a change in user interface. These options were there even in the previous time, but they were inside various reports that were there. Now they have bought the same on the face of balance sheet itself, and it is not getting a bit clumsy as they have consolidated various options into one button. So if you want to view the same, you can just directly check the same from here. Okay, so now going further, we have seen change view, change basis of value exception reports. The shortcut keys now, see, previously it used to be Control-Alt-C to copy and Control-Alt-V for tally. Now we can directly copy paste the same through Control-C and Control-V. So even that they have changed to an extent. Now see, this is one of the best features that they have provided in Tally Prime. The audit and analysis feature. Now previously there was even option as to text audit and stat audit in Tally itself. Currently they have removed the same, and they are going to bring back the same within the some of the few releases. They are just updating the same based on the current clauses of text audit. But what they have done in this particular data, see, there's an option here as to analysis and verification. Now let's say as an auditor, if you are viewing balance sheet of any of your client, let's say we are going to this voucher verification report, and you want to verify each particular ledgers of the balance sheet or each particular balance of the balance sheet. So there's an option here, analyze and verification reports, analysis and verification reports. If you click on the same, you are going to balance sheet. Now see, this is the balance sheet of this particular entity. Let's say we want to verify balances of sundry creditors. So what you could do is you could mention the comments of each particular debtor or creditor against their entry itself. Now, if you find this particular sales to be suspicious, or let's say this one is not reflected in your GSTR1, what you could do is you could directly mark the same here, that whether it is proper, whether it should be on hold, external clarification is required, internal observation. Let's say we want external clarification, confirmation from data. See, clarification from these are the list of users that are there. So let's say company has 10 users who are doing data entry. So if you want to make any particular person accountable for this particular thing, then you could even select the name of that particular person. Now see, what would happen whenever you are doing the audit, if you are mentioning all your queries here only in the verification note itself, then at the time of review, you would have a complete report as to which particular this query is there against which particular balances, and you could view the same directly from the face of balance sheet itself. So entire balance sheet you could review it from here, and you could even mention your notes here. Similarly, we are going for bank. Let's say you are mentioning the same as verified, so it is proper. Apart from that, in this particular report, this was even previously there, audit and data analysis and voucher verification. Only thing was they have not provided this facility whereby you could verify the same directly from balance sheet itself. So previously what used to be there, these are the vouchers, so you just need to select, there are contra transactions, so you need to check each of the same manually. Currently what's the scenario, you could directly view the balance sheet which particular transaction is affecting which ledger, and you could directly verify the same from there. And there are even options as to auditing. Let's say if you want to have any specific method of sampling or like that, you can even use the same. That was there previously also. Now apart from that, see, previously whenever you used to open this Tally and you used to go to F11 features, there were 3 separate tabs. One was for accounting configuration, the second one was for inventory, and third one was for this add-ons and all those stuff. So the statutory ones, so the same has been integrated on a single screen now currently. So this is accounting, inventory and taxation, all those things they have integrated here. And apart from that, if you are aware that Tally used to have an option as to group companies. So let's say if you want to have any sort of consolidation of 3 separate entities, they are maintaining their data in Tally itself. What you used to do is you can have the consolidation of 3 entities directly by Tally itself rather than doing any manual consolidation. Now what they have provided a feature in this particular Tally Prime. Let's say you want to create the consolidated company. You can mention the address here. Previously, to consolidate the same, what you used to do is you need to select the same manually. Now see, there is an option here as to this group company. When you are selecting the same, means your Tally would know that you want to create a consolidated company, and here you could select the member companies. Supposingly you have 10 companies, so you could directly select the same from here. Let's say if any other company is there, you can just select the same. You just need to enter the password of the same and you can select that company. So what it would do, in the company creation screen itself, it would consolidate all the 3 companies. So more or less what has happened, that the user interface has changed to an extent. The best feature that they have brought in Tally Prime, that is relating to e-invoicing, and apart from that, e-payment. Now we would look on the same and discussing about the capabilities that are withdrawn. So see, previously this statutory and tax audit was there. Currently it is not there in Tally Prime. Even the schedule 6, which was schedule 3 basically, which was there previously, you can do the grouping of all the particular this balances of balance sheet and P&L as per schedule 3 in Tally itself. Now that also they have withdrawn, and this e-Sugam and LBT and SMS facilities that were there previously, they have withdrawn. Apart from that, now Tally Prime would be supported only on 64-bit PC and having operating system with Windows 7 and above. The best thing that they have brought here is the e-invoicing facility, and apart from that, e-payment facility. What happens? See, now you could even do the bulk payment through Tally itself. So that they have just provided in this Tally Prime release 1.1 only. You need to contact your banker to provide the API for the same, and then it would be done by itself. Now basically covering the e-invoicing session. See, first thing what you need to do to configure invoicing, you would look at the same. See, Tally is a registered GSP. So it has already integrated the API with itself. So only thing that you need to do is you need to go to this portal, einvoice1.gst.gov.in. You need to log in here with your e-way bill credentials. Now soon you do the same. See, there's a screen here that is create API user. Soon you would be clicking there, an OTP would be received on the person whose name, on whose number it is registered. Soon you enter the this OTP, it would provide you with a screen that directly GST through GSP, through ERP, or through client ID of others. So you could select here through GSP. Once you select the through GSP, there would be an option enabled here, a drop down menu, whereby you would have various GSPs. Now Tally itself is a GSP. You could select the same and submit the same. So based on the same, the API integration would happen. And now you would be able to generate e-invoice directly from Tally. What we are supposed to do to configure e-invoice, that also we would look here. And if anyone has any questions regarding anything, you could just ask. Now see, just for 5 minutes, we would take a theoretical walkthrough of the invoicing. What is it, how it happens, and every those things. Now, first thing is what has changed in e-invoicing. See, previously normal invoicing was applicable to all taxpayers. Now e-invoicing has been divided into various slabs. That is, for entities with 500 CR or above, it was applicable from 1st October. Then 100 CR above from 1st Jan, and from 1st April 21, it would be applicable to all the taxpayers. Now, previously we used to upload JSON. Currently, there's a structured schema that they have provided. Based on the same, details would be auto-populated through invoicing. There was no as such concept of IRN or sort previously. Now there would be a 64-character unique IRN that would be generated along with the invoice. And along with the same, there would be a QR code, and amendment of invoice won't be possible. The cancellation is possible only for 24 hours through IRP portal, but amendment is not possible. And if you want to amend the same further, you can directly do it from GST portal. For B2C transactions, e-invoicing is not applicable. It is just applicable for B2B transactions and other B2G business to government transactions, or all those stuff. Now they have provided with a invoice registration portal whereby you could upload all the invoices issued to our recipients. So what are there in the invoice details? Seller detail, buyer detail, consignee detail. All these are one and the same. Only thing is you need to mention the QR code, and along with the same you can mention this IRN also. IRN is not mandatory, it is just optional, but QR code is mandatory. The reason that QR code is mandatory is basically so that your recipient could verify whether it is a genuine invoice or not. There is no fixed position where QR code is supposed to be mentioned. And for 100 line items, you could have one single e-invoice itself. So there is no limit in that. And it is mandatory to have, it is not mandatory to have IRN. It's just optional, but to have QR code, it is mandatory. Now, this is just basically on how it would impact the taxpayer, that they are supposed to upload each and every invoices on the IRP portal. And the preparedness required is you need to have a valid API for the same. Now, if you are having Tally, then that API integration is not, Tally has already integrated through an API. It is a registered GSP service provider. So you could just directly have the same through software itself. You're not supposed to do anything additional for the same. And there is how it would be affecting the purchase cycle. So let's say whenever you are uploading your invoices, it would be auto-populated in your GSTR1, and at the same time, it would be auto-populated in GSTR2 and to B of your clients. So this would change as a part of this business cycle. This would enable real-time invoicing so that there are not any sort of modifications of backdated entries or sort. Documents should be exported in e-invoice system, that is B2B transactions and B2G transactions, export invoices, reverse charge invoices, credit notes and debit notes. Now see why reverse charge invoices has been covered. Reason is that whenever you would be looking at the definition of invoices, if there is some sort of reverse charge supply, then even for that you are supposed to prepare your invoice. So it is basically e-invoice is based on the invoice, and under the definition of invoice, even this reverse charge is covered. So you are even supposed to provide e-invoice for reverse charge transactions. Whether e-invoice is applicable between two different GST and under same PAN, so yes, it is applicable. And there are methods of generating this invoicing. So for business having turnover above 500 CR, there is an option that they can have their own portal itself. Through that they can generate. That is one direct entry portal. It can be done through API, that is through ERP, which currently we are doing through Tally. There is one GSP in the between. Tally has already integrated. Tally is a GSP and it has integrated its API with the IRP portal. So we can upload the same directly from Tally. Then there are even facilities as to SMS, mobile app, and offline tools. You could generate a JSON from your software itself, and you could upload the same on the portal. Even that option is there. Currently, what we would be looking is this particular thing: Tally as an GSP service provider, and how the same has been integrated. Now, see how the process would be going is: we are preparing an invoice. This GSP, that is Tally, it would be uploading your data on the IRP portal. Through that you would be getting the details as to the IRN and all those stuff and QR code, and based on the same, buyer can verify that whether this invoice is genuine or not just by scanning the same. Thus technology is the key for the same. And now coming directly to our session, that is Tally Prime release 1.1, how you could do invoicing through the same. So see, this is the invoice that you are creating in Tally Prime. Now it is a GSP. It has integrated the same, and based on the same, it would upload data on the IRP portal. We would see now how the same is getting uploaded. Now see, if you want to upload any single invoice, what you need to do is you are passing any sales invoice entry. Now see here, there are two separate details: bill to, ship to, and other. You are selecting your any particular stock item. You are selecting the GST details. See, there's an option here: provide e-invoice details. So bill to, ship to details you are providing here. Post that, whenever you would be saving your invoice, so it would ask you as to, do you want to generate e-invoice? So if you are pressing the same to yes, it would ask you the credentials. Now this credentials, once logged in, would be valid for 6 hours. So it would directly integrate, and now it would show that invoice generated successfully. The details are updated in the transactions. Press any key to continue. So post that, whenever you are printing any invoice, what would happen that if you would be looking at the preview of the same, it would display you with this particular QR code and the IRN number. So this would be automatically fetched from the portal itself. You're not supposed to do anything, any sort of manual intervention or like that. It would be fetched by itself. Same thing if you want to have a view on the same. Currently we cannot upload any invoice on the portal, but we would just have a look as to the same, how the same works. To enable the same, you need to go to F11. See, there is an option here as to enable goods and service tax. We are setting this here. See, there is one more option here, that is e-invoice applicable. Is it applicable? Yes. Then what is the date of applicability? You can mention it as for 500 CR turnover, it was 1st October. Post that currently up to 100 CR, it is now from 1st Jan, and post that for all taxpayer, it is from 1st April. So the applicable date you could mention here. What is the bill from place? So this is basically whether you are going to bill from which particular place, your factory premises or your corporate office. You could mention the same here. Default period for e-invoicing report. Now, what is this? That see, the IRN details that would be stored in Tally. You want to view the report for how much days or like that. You could mention based on your requirement. If you want to view 30 days report, you could mention here 30 or like that. There's an option as to send e-bill details along with the e-invoice. So if you want that, even if you don't want to upload manually your e-bill. So previously what used to happen that you need to export the JSON file, or you need to directly punch the figures on the portal. So even if you don't want to do that, and along with the invoices, even e-bill should be prepared. If you want the same, you could set this option to yes. So based on the same e-bill and e-invoice, both would be prepared on a single stretch. And one thing to note here is, see, for every transaction, it is mandatory to have e-invoice, but e-bill it is required to be prepared only if e-bill is applicable. So if let's say transaction is of 5 rupees only, then it is not mandatory to, or 500 rupees, it is not mandatory to prepare the e-bill for the same. But if it is sold to registered user, then for B2B transaction, e-invoice is mandatory. Now let's say when you are making any sales invoice, this is a party of Bangalore, and the sales ledger we have selected, this is a party of Gujarat. So see, what we have not selected any classification here. It has by default taken as interstate sales taxable. From which particular godown you want the stock to be dispatched? Quantity is, let's say, 50 only. Rate 1000. And selecting the GST here. So IGST it is calculated as 6000 at the rate of 12%. Or just let us select a stock item based on 18%. Now see what happened that, see, soon I selected this particular thing. The transaction amount is, let's say, 5,000 only. That e-bill option has gone from here. Provide invoice details, it is just asking that. Now see, soon I am increasing the amount, it is asking both the things. Provide GST, e-bill, invoice details. So it would by default know by itself whether e-bill is to be generated or not. So if you want to use this feature and generate e-bill from Tally itself, you could do it from here directly. Let's say we are keeping 200 only. We are providing e-invoice details, bill to place and ship to place. It is at Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Now see, when you would save the same, if there are any error in invoice, it would be reflected here, or if not, it would process by itself. See, when we are accepting the same, it would ask, do you want to generate e-invoice for the same? If you are pressing the same to yes, it would generate by itself if you are already logged in. But if you are not logged in, then it would ask you the credentials. So currently we are not uploading the same, so I'm just not mentioning the same, but this is the process. Now it has even provided you with the flexibility to either upload single invoices at the time of data entry itself, or you can even upload the bulk invoices. Now we would see how bulk invoices could be uploaded. So from go to see, currently we are going to e-invoice report. Now see, it is disclosing here pending for generation. So all these 4 invoices, they have already been prepared, but IRN has not been generated. So what you could do is, you could directly select the same from here and you could send the same to portal. So you could even have an option as to bulk upload in Tally. Now say you are mentioning the credentials. Now see, they have selected 2 invoices. So out of 4, these 2 should be uploaded and IRN should be generated for the same. So it has disclosed e-invoice is generated to details updated in the transaction. Now again, this one they are generating IRN for the same. So invoice is generated too, and details have already been uploaded, updated in the transaction. So now it is disclosing that IRN generated from through this portal. So all the 4 invoices for the same now it has been generated and the details have been fetched by itself. We are not supposed to manually update the same. Going to our tally screen. So let's say to view that e-invoice report. See, we have prepared certain sales invoice and marked the same under the mismatch tab so that you could be clear that how many sort of errors are there. See, now there is an option here pending for IRN generation. So we have 4 transactions. Let's say out of this 4, if you want to select 3 transactions and we want to do bulk upload for the same, then we can do the same directly from here. And there is one more option here under the exchange tab. So there's an option here as to send for e-invoicing. We can even select the same from here. Now see, we are selecting these 4 transactions. Let's say if you want to send the same. So for IRN generation 3, for IRN cancellation 0, we would see what is the cancellation process. Do you want to continue? Soon you press the same to yes. It would ask you with the user ID and password and you could directly upload the same on the portal. So that was basically for IRN generation, bulk upload in Tally. Now there is one more option at S2, effortlessly generate e-invoice along with the e-way bill if applicable. So see what they have mentioned, that is if applicable only. So if there is a transaction of 5,000 only, then Tally would not upload the e-way bill. It would not even ask for details for the same. However, if the transaction is above the limit specified for e-way bill applicability, then it would ask that do you want to generate both e-invoice and e-way bill? We would see how the same is done, the process for the same. So there's a transaction of 1 lakh. So see here it would ask you with the details that provide GST, e-way bill, invoice details. See, soon you press the same to yes. Currently e-way bill number and date is not there as the same has not been uploaded on the portal. It would ask you bill from, dispatch from. If there are separate locations as to billing and go down from where it is to be dispatched, you can mention the same here. If there is separate bill to ship to details, invoice is to party A and let's say it is to be dispatched to party C, then you could mention the same here. The transporter name, transporter ID, vehicle number, you could have the same mentioned here. Now see here what it would ask, do you want to generate both e-way bill and invoice? See, e-invoice and e-way bill generated successfully, the details are updated. So what it would do is the e-way bill number, even though you have not logged in anything there, see e-way bill number has already been fetched here. So it would go to the portal, take the details of e-way bill also, and it would update the same directly in Tally itself. So even that thing you are not supposed to do manually. that would be taken care by Tally directly by itself. And now see here, if you are viewing this particular tab, the IRN details have been updated by itself, and even the e-way bill number has been updated. We have not mentioned the same at the time of data entry. It has been updated by itself. So going for the same, let's say if you are making any data entry. Your place we are mentioning Bangalore. I'm just mentioning something like that only. Date of LR we are keeping to, let's say, 31st December only. Bill to ship to place Ahmedabad. The reference. Now see, mandatory information for e-way bill is not specified. See, it would pop up the error by itself if you have not mentioned any of the details that is mandatory for updating e-way bill. So if you could see here, we have not mentioned anything in the distance in kilometer. What is the difference between both the places? So if any that sort of scenario is there where we have not updated any details, error would be displayed by itself. Let's say we are mentioning 500 kilometers. So soon we would accept. See, it would ask you as to the details. Do you want to generate e-invoice and e-way bill? If we are setting the same to yes, we need to log into portal and it would be directly getting generated, and the e-way bill number would be fetched here by itself. Further, it has even provided the flexibility to generate the offline JSON to handle the exigency scenarios. Now, what happens that let's say there is sort of some issue with the internet connectivity or like that, you are not able to upload your e-invoices on real-time basis due to non-availability of internet connection. So what you could do it at that sort of time, you could prepare the invoices, export the JSON of the same, and you could directly upload the same on the IRP portal. So see how that would happen. Even we would look at the same. In the exchange, an option has to send for invoicing. Now see, these all transactions are there. Okay. Supposingly we are selecting here offline export. So see what it is displaying for IRN generation 3, for IRN cancellation 0. Do you want to continue? If you want to continue, see here, it is not going to ask you with the any ID password as you are doing the work offline. So you could export the same on any of your specific location, C drive, program files, teleprime. Or if you want to have any different path, you could export this particular JSON file on that path. And then you could upload the same on directly IRP portal. So let's say if you would be sending the same, see by default the file has been exported here. E-invoices, this particular number, IRN generation. This you could upload on the portal itself. So if you want to do any sort of offline uploading, you could even do the same. Now, see, they have provided with a report whereby you could know the status of each particular invoice, that whether the same has been generated, whether it is cancelled, whether it is rejected IRN. Tally has by default provided that feature that all these things would be displayed in the report itself. Let's look at the same. We are going to the invoice report. Let's say I'm selecting the full period. Now see, this is the complete report that Tally provides. See, for all this transaction, it is disclosing that there is a mismatch in nature of transaction, place of supply, and parties country. So once we would be rectifying the same, then only it would provide that it is pending for IRN generation. So from here it would go here. So just to have a view on the same, let's say we are passing any sales entry. Let's say rather than selecting, there should be, this is ideally an interstate transaction. I'm just selecting the CGST. I'm mentioning any amount as GST. See, I'm saving the same. See what error it is displaying. Tax amount does not match the value calculated as per the set tax rules. Do you want to continue? See, even if I pressed yes, it has not pushed me to that login screen. It rather provided here that mandatory information for e-invoice is not specified or it is invalid. So at the time of data entry itself, there would be a check on the same. Now going to the report. Now it is mentioned if you want to directly rectify the same from here, you could do the same by just mentioning the IGST amount that is there. So similarly, there are various options as to if you want to get the IRN details directly from portal, you would even get the same. See, these are the transactions that are pending for IRN generation, or these are the transactions where you have cancelled the same here, but you need to upload these cancelled IRN transactions on the portal. You can cancel the transactions till 24 hours. So if you want to upload these on portal, you could directly do it from here itself. These are the mismatch transactions, HSN not specified, or mandatory information for invoices that needs to be there is not provided. See here, bill to address is not specified, place is not specified, the pin code needs to be a 6-digit, that is not there. So all the error details would be popped up here. So you could have the report directly from here. Apart from that, see, these are the transactions for which IRN has been generated on the portal, but the same has not been updated on the this Tally. So what you could do is you could just select get IRN info. So it would fetch the details of IRN from portal itself, or if you want to update the same manually, you could just update the same here manually. So even that option has been provided.
Yeah, Kunal, sorry to interrupt, but I hope we can finish in next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes, it's just done. This is the last option.
All right, great. Yeah.
And the last one that is there, that is for IRN cancel transactions. So IRN cancel from the invoice system and marked as IRN cancel. So you could have a complete report as to the same, that how many IRN has been cancelled, what are the excluded transactions if you have specifically excluded any of the transactions, how many of the same has been uploaded on the portal which are pending for uploading or like that. So this was completely regarding invoice. And apart from that, just last thing. Now they have provided one additional feature here, that is for e-payment in Tally. So let's say if you're selecting any of the bank, say it is HDFC Bank. See, soon you will be selecting bank here. They have provided one additional option as to enable e-payments. See, soon you would select the same. It would disclose you that Tally Prime supports the generation of bulk payment instructions for bank. To activate the bulk payment, you need to contact your RM. So if there is any scenario where, let's say you have made 10 entries for payment vouchers in Tally and you want to process the same. So what would happen that you can just directly export that file of 10 payment entries, and you could Tally would directly integrate with the bank's portal and upload the details. So there is no any manual intervention like uploading Excel or like that. Tally would directly take care of the same. So this is one additional feature that has been provided here. Okay, so any further questions on the same? Okay, so if nothing, we can conclude the session.
If anyone has any questions, then we have 4-5 minutes where you can ask them.
So can we modify e-invoice after generated invoice?
See, once let's say once you have already generated the IRN for the same, if you are provided with the user rights as to modifications in Tally, you could modify the same, but it would reflect the same under the mismatch transactions. That for this particular invoice, IRN was already generated and you have modified these transactions. So what you are supposed to do, let's say if any sales invoice is to be modified, you are rather supposed to cancel that particular IRN first and generate the new sales invoice for the same.
Okay.
So how Tally would take care of the same is it would disclose the same under the mismatch transactions if you are modifying the transactions. And
Yes, sir.
apart from that, just from the control perspective, if you want to look at the same for the sales transactions, you could do one thing that users are not allowed any modification rights. Even Tally has that facility.
So
So
what will be
yes.
good? We have
So
to
you
consider.
could you could have a control through user management itself that any of the user are not provided with the this sales entry modification rights.
Okay, so we have to cancel first, right?
Yes, you are supposed to cancel the first and prepare the fresh invoice and upload on the IRN portal.
Okay.
You cannot modify
So
the same directly. Yes.
one more question.
Yes.
We have taken TDL in Tally ERP9 of showing previous 6 bills in invoice.
Okay.
The same thing in running in Tally ERP Prime. Sorry, Prime now.
Okay.
But suppose we have to not show the previous 5 bills. So where we have to disable that particular TDL. So
See,
we have to.
yes. See, there would be an option for an that add-ons. See, there are two options here also. See, if that particular developer has uploaded the same on your license itself, then you need
Okay.
to ask your developer just to
Okay.
remove the same from your license.
But sir, in a
One thing
previous
is that, and if
in
the
pre,
same has not been uploaded,
sir in previous
your voice
Tally
is not audible. Yes.
Tally ERP9 there was a option for enable or disable the uh, TDL of previous 5 bills.
Yes. Yes. So
But
I would just show you the same. I would just share my screen once so that
okay.
you have an idea as to the same. See, this is the Tally Prime screen. Now, see,
Okay.
previously you used to have a tab below Tally, whereby you could see that how many TDLs are loaded or like that.
Yes.
Currently, there is an option is F1 that is TDL and add-ons. So from here, you could, if you have updated the same manually, you could remove from here, manage local TDLs. Could select no here.
Okay, but sir, my concern is that if we don't want to show the previous 5 bills in invoice,
Yes.
so is there an option to disable that particular point?
Means you are of the opinion that for only your one particular invoice you don't want to show that. For others you want. Is it like
Yes.
that or for all the invoices?
No, only one single invoice.
So you can do that thing whenever you are printing that particular invoice, you could just
Okay.
set the same no to here and post that you could enable the same.
Okay.
Hello. So in that way
Okay,
it would be managed.
okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Karan, you can start now. Karan, mute. You are on mute, Karan.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So we would like to thank CA Kunal Soni for this excellent session. And he is partner at Mistry and Shah, and he is currently looking after ERP implementation and finance department of various corporates. And he has taken over 100 seminars on Tally. He is yellow belt in Tally, and his main work is giving advisory on system implementation. And excellent session, Kunal. Thanks a lot. So today it's an honor to propose a vote of thanks on behalf of CA Association Ahmedabad Professional Development Committee. And I have to thank first Honorable Chairman of Professional Development Committee, Mr. Darshan Shah, and President of CA Association, Shri Ketan Mistry, and Secretary, Shri Mihir Pujara, for making today's seminar possible. And lastly, I would like to thank all the participants who have gathered today for to understand this session and to have professional development. And thank you all. And we hope to see you in more such seminars next time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
We can log off.